Good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jill Spirit Survivor. I'm gonna give you a word on tonight, and and the topic gonna be Abraham and Amberlash. You know, so we left off at Lot daughters want to preserve the family line through their father. Because they believe that the entire world was destroyed. And the only survivor with no men on earth but their father. So they're looking at their father with lust because they feel like no man was on the earth. That's what they think. The older daughter, came up with a motive to entice their father. And God only destroyed the city of Sodom, not the world. So they had lack of knowledge. Um, but this that was we talked about yesterday. So this package today is about Abraham. We catching what happened with him and his wife in Egypt. But now this gonna be a second time they're gonna be dealing with the same situation again, but not in Egypt. So Abraham, so Abraham, now this time Abraham will explain to the king Amalek why he said Sarah his sister. you know. So before Amalek can touch Sarah, God had interfered, you know, and put sickness, on him and his whole household. So Amalek had to let Sarah go, and Abraham had to pray for him to be healed. So this passage gonna come from Genesis chapter 20, verse 1 through 18. So now Abraham moved on into the region of Negev and lived between Kadesh, and Shur. So we see Abraham gets around. He gets around. He don't stay in one spot. He gets around. So that's why when God always said him, look, I need you to move from here and I need you to go here, he don't have no problem because he always bouncing around. So now, for a while, he stayed in Gerar, here to go again. So Abraham said to Sarah, his sister. So he in Gerar, and he telling Sarah to say he is sister. Here we go again. He telling them that he is sister. And you have Amberlash, he is the king there. He sent for Sarah and he took her. So Amberlash took Sarah, but God came to Amberlash in a dream. And he said, you are as good as dead. You know what I'm saying? God said you as good as dead. Because God plan is not ready to proceed yet. So God said you as good as dead. Got into his dream and telling this to him, because of the woman that you about to touch, who you about to lay down with, is a married woman. You know, because this woman you have taken is married. So Amalek said that he didn't touch her yet. He said he have not touched her. He said he would destroy. He said you would destroy an innocent nation. Did he not say that she is my sister? So he trying to say he innocent. What she is, because Abraham had told Sarah to say he his sister. She his sister. So so if she's saying he is sister and he, grab her and wants to, do something with her, he don't know that they really is husband and wife. All he know that she is his sister. So he telling God, he trying to plead for his innocence. He said, I have a clear conscience, because she told me she his sister. So then God came, and said, so God says to him in a dream. So God still in his dream. God said, yes, I know. He said, yes, I know. But still, you know, still God said, that's why I kept you from sin against God. So that's why God had to interfere because he was about to sleep with her. and God knows she is a married woman, and also he are innocent because Sarah said she is his Abraham's sister, but for him to not sin against God, God said that's why he interfered. He had to interfere so he won't touch Sarah because Sarah is a married woman, so that's why, I kept you from sinning against God. God said that is a way I did not let you touch her. He said, he said God had to interfere before he, touch her. So God told him to return Sarah back to her husband. Return her back to her husband. Now God put all kind of sickness on him and his whole household. So God said, for you to be healed, you have to return Sarah back to Abraham as that's his wife. You know, and for you to be healed, you have to return her back to Abraham. And I will have Abraham to pray for you to be healed. So this is what he told. You know, he said, if you return Sarah back to Abraham, you will live. But right now, you good as dead. You know, excuse me. So he said, God said, you as good as dead. But you will live if you return her back to Abraham. And if you don't, this sickness will stay on you and your whole household. So he have something to think about. You know, so he in God in his dream, and if you don't return, the man wife, and you will live. But if you don't, all who belongs, you know, to you under your household will die. See, God don't play. He don't play when it comes down to a married man, a married woman. Even though Sarah said she, Abraham's sister, God already knows they're married. She's married. And God didn't want him to touch Sarah, so he hurried up and intervened before all that happened. So the next day, of blaming us, all of Abraham, some of Abraham in, and he asked him, what you had done to me, what you done, you know, what you had done. So the king asked, what was your reason, for all this here? Why would you lie and say that's your sister? Tell me, give me the reason why you say that's your sister. You got all this sickness on me because of your wife. So Abraham told him the story, what he said, that his sister. Now Abraham saying that Sarah really is his sister. So he's saying Sarah is really his sister. That's what he's telling this king. He said she's the daughter of his father's household. She's the daughter of his father's household. That's the story he's saying. So this is how you can show your love. So he's saying about that. So he's saying from now on, every time you come in, you keep on saying that's your that's your sister. You're the brother. He wanted to keep on saying it. So for him this is how he show his love, to Abraham. He said, now Abraham told his side of the story why he said that's his sister, Abimelek, about to show his love. Now, what he's about to do. Now, this is how Hagar came in place. Because the next story is gonna be Hagar gonna be Sarah's slave. So now we see that this slave girl Hagar come from a Abimelek, to king. So now we're about to see how Hagar came into the picture. Abimelek, brought those things to Abraham. So he's still showing love and kindness to Abraham. So he wants to give Abraham sheep, male and female a slave, and one of the slaves gonna be Hagar, And them he get all to Abraham, and he returned his wife to him. He returned his wife to him, and also wants to get Abraham all these things. And now he is not done. He's not done yet. This king here really is fond of Abraham. So he said, "My land is before you." He said you can live wherever you like. So now this king, he done turned his mind all the way around. First he giving Abraham sheep. Now he giving them male and female slaves. Now he telling him he got a land that you can live any way you want. But Abraham already blessed. Abraham can go stay wherever he want to stay. Abraham got sheep on top of sheep. So he want to get Abraham something that Abraham have already. So remember, God placed sickness on this king here, to return Abraham's wife to him. So when you return her, you will live, But when Abraham prayed, he prayed for him, you know. Abimelek returned his wife, and Abraham prayed to God for this king to live and have the sickness removed from him and his household. Because God told him the only way for me to heal you, you have to return his wife back to him, and then I'm gonna have Abraham to pray for you. And then you will be healed, and everyone that's in your household will be healed. And see, God always do that. No matter how bad you are, how wicked, and evil you are. God will always have that. Just like God had your friends. They disrespect God in all kind of ways. But then God turned around and said, I'm gonna have Joe to pray for y'all to live. Because see, God was gonna destroy. Joe prayed for his friends, and they lived, and they went on their way. So God will give you time to repent, and God will have your righteous person to pray for the one that's wicked. And the king, Abraham prayed for the king. So the king was here. Everyone in his household was here. The female slave. So that could have. So he gave them some slave. And he see that Abraham don't have no children. So he said he got a female slave. So y'all can have children. For the Lord had kept all the women in this king household from conceiving any kids because of Abraham's wife. See, God don't play. God put sickness on all of them. God sealed them up for none of the women to have any children. So he said all this was done because of your wife. So now we see Abraham, in the same situation that he did before when he went to Egypt. He lied and told several to lie and said she his sister. So we see everywhere Abraham go he gonna have his several saying that's his sister. So Abraham prayed to God, for Abimelek, to be healed from sickness, and God placed, on him. So we see that they caught up. They was caught up in the same situation that they did before in Egypt. Where Abraham had to tell his wife to say, I'm your sister, you my sister, I'm your brother. They caught up in the same situation again. So we also see, that this king get Abraham a slave girl, and which gonna be on Hagar. So now we see that several got Hagar from this king. So we see where Hagar come from. Hagar come from this king. I blame is not. She come from this king. So now we see where Hagar come from, and how she will come to be Sarah's slave. When they left that city, and Abraham prayed for this king to be here, and he wanted to show love and kindness. He said, I'm going to give you sheep. I'm going to give you male, female, slave. this land that you standing on. You could live any way you want. So this king here was showing love and kindness, to Abraham, and God intervened just in time to stop this man from sleeping with Sarah, knowing she is a married woman. God always do things right on time. He jumped in right in time to stop this man from because God said, I stopped you from sinning against God. Because you really would have been in big trouble if you would have went through the whole process. So we see that Abraham be frightened when he go to different cities, you know, due to his wife pretty. I know back then, when they went to Egypt, she was kind of young and she was beautiful. Now they at that age now, and she must be still pretty for him to want to still to take her, to take her, to lay with her, and everything else. When God had to interfere, God had to come in his dream and like, you cannot touch this one. He was like, I ain't touch this one. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. She told me she his sister. God said, I know, but I'm just letting you know before you sin against me. Do not touch this woman. Return her back to her husband. And then we have another story that we found out where Hagar come from. Hagar come from this king. This king, the king. He said God, all the women here, God had not let them conceive any children because of Abraham's wife. So he's telling them, y'all can say whatever you want. So we see that God had intervened this time before he slept with her. He said, I ain't slept with her. I'm innocent. I have a clear conscience. I had not touched her. And then she told me she Abraham's sister. So he said he innocent. God said, I know you innocent. God said, I know you got a clean heart. But you still can't touch this woman. This woman is still a married woman that I need you to give back, to Abraham. And if you don't, this sickness will stay on you and your whole household, and you will die. But if you return her back to Abraham, you will live. I will have Abraham to pray for you so you can live and be healed. So that's all the word I have for you on tonight. We're going to continue on. I'm having fun doing this Bible study. I love it, because I'm doing from the front to back, and we all is learning the details and everything in these stories, and it's amazing, so we going to learn so much. It's a lot of stuff that we learned, that little small details that we didn't know. Like yesterday, we didn't know the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Ammonites came from Lot's daughters. I know I didn't. So we learning a whole lot with this Bible study. I will be doing Bible study on every Monday at 6 o'clock. So just getting the material together. I said, while I'm getting the material together, I can tell somebody else, about all the details and the wonderful story that's in this Bible. And it's amazing that we starting from the beginning, and seeing how all these stories are being put together back to back. So I'm having fun doing this Bible study, and I'll see y'all on the next video. And y'all have a blessed and safe night.